If you want to create something fun and special for Valentine's Day, stay tuned. Hi, I'm Chris with Create with Chris, and today I'm going to show you how to create I Dig You Valentine Shovel, part of my Keep It Simple series where I just focus on simple techniques that actually require no talent, but they look so amazing when they're finished. I love how this turned out, and I think you'll enjoy it too. So grab your brushes and let's get started. Today I'm using chalk paint, and this is the home decor chalk paint from Folk Art. Goes on beautifully, and I'm just using a bigger brush to apply long, even, smooth strokes. Has great coverage, easy to work with, dries nicely, and it's super easy to distress. And I do want to lean a little bit more toward the vintage. When I do the tag, I always paint the part with the hole first, grab my stylus, then I can hang on to it very easily. Switching over to Maui sand to paint the handle, and the little heart is painted with Imperial. Let it dry and then lightly sanding the edges, and you can get as aggressive as you like on this step. I kind of hone back a little bit, and then if I decide I want to add a little bit more, I can always go back and kind of buff it down a bit. I'm loading the flat of my palette knife with just a very thin skim of paint, and then I keep it super flat and slide it over the surface. Creates these beautiful distressed effect, almost like a chipped or weathered look, and I love how that turns out. Doing a little bit on the tag, and you can see if you get too much on the palette knife, you get kind of a blob. I decided to put a touch on the heart. It's really small, so I'm just being minimal on that. Grab some ground espresso archival ink and a sponge dauber. I'm just going around the edges to create that look of age and antiquing. Wanted to do the little tag as well, so they all go together. Don't forget to do the handle. Even though it's dark, that antiquing does show up. I have a stencil, but it's a little bit too close. I wanted to put the heart in the middle, so I'm going to have to spread them out. So I positioned the stencil using my spectacular stencil brush and the Maui sand, and I'm stenciling the U on it, and I'm not worried about a real heavy coverage. I want this to look a little bit distressed. Then I'm going to move it down so that make sure I have enough room to put that heart in there. And then I'll tape it off. I'm a messy stenciler, so I always use painter's tape to make sure I anchor that stencil down and it's not going to move around. After I get those letters stenciled in there, I'm taking that tape off, and I want to do just the arrow. And I don't want to get paint in the heart area, so I just took this is my painter's pal, just kind of covered up the heart so the paint doesn't go there. Picked up a little bit of thin Maui sand and splattered all of the pieces, fills that background in. Wanted to add a little highlight on that heart. Also, it brightens it up, and I just used the milk jug and my script liner. This is the conversation heart stencil. I use this so much. I love all these adorable little sayings, and I thought true love would work out well for this. I wanted to put a little bit of design around the outer edge. I used my Identipen, just kind of scratching on a little border. It just makes it fun. And I thought it was a little dark, so I did go back with my liner and touch up where came across a little bit too strong, and it made the letters hard to read. So just pay attention to the little details. It does make a difference. See how nicely that little heart fits in there? I love the way it looks. Adding a little more splattering on the handle and the heart. These are darker areas. I put some on the shovel part too, and it just helps brighten those letters up. Wanted to create a fun little bow, and I'm using the Bodabra. Tore some strips of black and white homespun. It's about a 1/2 inch wide. I decided to put a little bit of a satin ribbon on there, and it pretty much matches the shovel. I just thought that would be pretty. And then a little bit and I wanted to bring the red in, so I'm going with a 1/2 inch, and this is just a regular, real pretty red ribbon. not going to put much on it because this is a small shovel. It's not going to need much. I used paper wire to tie it together with, and then I just curled the ends with my wire curler. I thought it was a little bit too dark, and so I thought it would stick a little bit of lace. So I created a bow with lace, and I'm just going to put that on first, and then put a little more glue on, hot glue on there, and then put the bow on, fluff it up a little bit, snip off those tails to whatever length you prefer. I didn't want it to cover up my lettering. And you can see how those little curls add a bit of whimsy. The center of the bow, I found this cute little button and decided to just pop that in there. I did put a little bit of that paper wire on the tag, and then I'll just glue it, stick it right in the bottom of the bow, and just make sure it's positioned the way I want it. I did think it needed a few extra curly cues, so I did add some more and just glue them in there. I think this turned out so sweet and would make such a wonderful Valentine's decoration or gift for someone special. This was a very short video. In reality, I think it took about a half an hour to create this, so it's not time consuming. Just adding a few little decorative touches. It just shows you how a little bit of paint makes a big difference. Everything I used in this project is listed in the links below, and there's a free project sheet you can download. Just makes it a little bit easier for referencing. If you're enjoying this video, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share. Don't forget to subscribe, that way you won't miss out on upcoming videos. Thanks again for joining me, and as always, I look forward to our next painting adventure together. And remember, a little bit of paint makes a big difference.